Ladies and gentlemen, the Near Fall Network proudly brings to you the modern-day Micah Raja, the guru of grappling gab, the one, the only, Shooter!
Say hello to the bald guy and bow down to your king. Welcome to another episode of Drive By. We're looking at Wrestlemania Fallout. As always, I have with me my partner in crime, my twin brother from a different mother, the guy who stole my name, none other than the King of Nerds, Mike Forrest. What's up, Mike?
Not a lot, man. It's been a busy week. Can't wait to talk about WrestleMania. Talked about WrestleMania a lot this week, but not with you. So I'm excited for that.
Exactly, and it has been an epic week, to say the least. A lot of stuff has gone down. We've already talked about Mania on our page, but of course you and I have not, so we're going to touch on a few things. I, of course, am Mike, Shooter, Marcus, and we are going to take you guys through this, and we're going to highlight some of the things that were highlights for us, I guess is the best way to put it, wouldn't you say?
We're going to highlight the highlights. It's going to be like Highlights Magazine, except there's not going to be Goofus and Gallant, and there's not a picture search. So basically it's like Highlights Magazine without all the best parts, but with wrestling. So that's kind of dope.
It is kind of dope. I was never a lucky enough kid to have Highlights Magazine. I only got to look at that in a doctor's office.
Oh, where some asshole kid had already circled all the pictures with a fucking orange crayon.
Everything you wanted to do,
oh, dude, come
done.
on. Why would you do that, man? Yeah, Why would you do that?
It's not even fair.
No, man. My mom was a teacher, so I had a subscription.
There you go. Well, I just assumed the kid who got to do all that at a doctor's office is probably like the same kid who's cleaning a bathroom somewhere as an adult.
No, it's the same dickhead who just leaves his shopping cart in the parking spot at Walmart.
That valid point. It's all the same person. But anyway, let's get into some wrestling, Mike.
Yeah, we might want to talk about that.
We might want to talk about that. Something I do want to touch on real quick. This kind of broke right before recording. You shared this with me, Mike, and you actually shared it with our MVPs in the Near Fall Network chat. But Dave Meltzer giving his star ratings for NXT TakeOver matches and WrestleMania matches. And the thing that stood out to me, I'm sure stood out to you, was 2 5-star matches on NXT.
I was surprised that the North American Championship match was a 5-star match. Not that
I was too.
I kind of disagree with that.
You were surprised by Meltzer giving it 5 stars.
Yeah, well, personally, I didn't think maybe necessarily it was a 5-star match myself. I thought it was very, very good. I also don't like to give matches ratings. It's not my thing. Because it's objective, yes.
Yes.
My personal standards, was it a 5-star match? No, it was a very, very good match. But to me, a 5-star match is Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Bret the Hitman Hart at WrestleMania. That's a favorite match all time. So that's what I'm comparing it to. It didn't meet that standard for me. Was it an amazing match? Hell yes, it was. I'm surprised though Meltzer gave it a 5-star. I really am. I didn't see that.
As am I. And although I don't have them in front of me, Aleister Black and Cien Almas got what, a 4.5? Was it a 4.5?
4.5, I believe. Yeah, 4.5.
So there we go. Almost 5 5-star matches on TakeOver. And though Mania had a few matches with lower ratings, it also did very, very well. I think the highest match was the Rousey match. Was that a 4.5?
Rousey was 4.75, I believe.
Okay, almost a 5-star match from Uncle Dave Meltzer on the first outing. I don't want to spend a lot of time on it, but I just think it's interesting that there's still people that complain, and someone who literally doesn't give WWE credit almost ever is giving out stars like they're in the Tokyo Dome.
I think it means a lot for the state of the in-ring product that Meltzer gave it this rating. The only argument is, personally, I think we can all agree that Charlotte Asuka was the best match of the card, right?
If you're looking straight from a wrestling standpoint, yes. Okay, 100%.
So Meltzer rated Rousey's little match there the highest match of the WrestleMania card, which I found odd because he generally doesn't rate matches based on the overall storyline and impact. He generally looks at them strictly from an in-ring standpoint. That's just my personal takeaway from when I read his reviews. If you disagree, that's fine. That's just my personal takeaway. So I was surprised to see that this match, which, don't get me wrong, from an in-ring standpoint, was an amazing product. It was more built around the story and the spectacle. So I thought it was interesting that he gave that one the higher rating.
He gave the Rousey match a 4 and 2.5, whatever he considers that, 4 1/4, and he gave Asuka Flair 4.
Okay, that's what it was then.
So I pulled it up, and Aleister Black and Cien Almas got 4.25. So they tied with Rousey. So, yeah, and as I said, the only argument I would make, because I agree with your assessment on that, the only argument I would make is that the crowd was, I don't mean this as an insult, but surprisingly super into Ronda Rousey, which was totally awesome to see, to hear, to experience.
She won them.
Yeah,
Everyone
which she
was
needed
waiting.
to.
Here's the thing, though. The crowd wanted her to succeed. Even if
Do
you're
you
sitting
think?
there as like, I do. Because you want to see something awesome, right?
You do, but I'm a little more pessimistic when it comes to wrestling fans these days.
Yeah, okay, I get that. But I feel like even an asshole wants to see something cool happen. Like, she did something, okay. What she did was unheard of, right? She came in and looked like a 10-year pro. Like a great professional wrestler. And you just
yes,
can't... She looked so good you couldn't deny it. And the crowd, I think, got swept up in that. Even if you're an asshole and you're wanting her to fail, if you were live there was no way you couldn't get swept up in, oh my gosh, look how good she is. There's sometimes when talent just overwhelms haters.
Yeah, and I think that was her moment to do that. You know, everyone was going on the few little physical interactions she had in the ring in her promo, but she's not a promo person. This is all new to her. It's going to take a minute, but the physicality, she's used to that. She's just got to take it to the WWE style.
She did all the right things, man. She knew when to kick out a pin. She knew when to break up a pin. She knew to hold the rope in the corner turnbuckle while waiting on the tag. It was the little things, man, and I know for a fact there was a large segment waiting on her to fail, but there was a large segment that was just waiting to see what happened, and we're going to judge either way. And when she looked, and I think most of those people were like, wanted her to succeed. And I think they were just waiting, and once she looked good, they just popped, man. I think it was just a huge build-up pop. So... I mean, I guess...
She delivered what she needed to, and probably then some.
Yes, she gave the crowd what she needed, and I'm sure the crowd was a huge boost to that match.
Oh,
so maybe that played into Meltzer. I mean, like, we really got away from Meltzer on that.
We did, and I do feel that played into it, but that's okay. But while we're talking about this, while we're talking about women, let's talk about my prediction for Ronda Rousey, because we don't know where this is going. We don't know where it goes from here. I expect her to do a lot of work on Raw. I think that's where she's staying, and I expect her to do more than a Brock Lesnar thing. But that being said, we don't know where she goes. Time will tell. But where I do believe she's headed, I'll predict it right here. The show after WrestleMania, main event WrestleMania 35, Ronda Rousey, Charlotte Flair. So let's talk about your girl Charlotte, man. Breaking Asuka's streak.
The Queen.
The Queen.
The greatest of all time.
This woman is so spectacular that it's hard to take your eyes off of her when she's in the ring.
She truly is a once-in-a-lifetime talent.
It's hard to imagine that this was not a path that she was initially set on from the get-go. It's hard to imagine it from everything I've heard, everything I've read. She's taken this up in memory of her brother who wanted to do this. Isn't that just crazy? That as horrible as the circumstance is, had her brother not died, we might not have Charlotte Flair in the WWE.
No, we totally probably wouldn't have it all.
And God rest his soul, it's a tragedy, but they always say try to take what's good out of a tragedy. And, I mean, this is something that wrestling fans are eating up because Charlotte is the greatest female professional wrestler currently and is in short order going to be of all time.
Yeah, I seriously, honestly think she could come out on Monday or Tuesday and retire, and she's the greatest of all time. I really
And she'd be a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Dude.
She broke Asuka's streak, and we can't like. Although I think it was, we debated this. We said I would have been okay if it was Rousey at a later date, not at Mania. You also agreed that would be okay. It was she's a legit badass in real life, so why not?
I think that's a legit WrestleMania main event.
I do too. But I feel a lot more happy, and I'm a Rousey fan, that this was given to Charlotte.
Oh, yeah,
and I think that says a lot about how they feel about this woman.
That's what I thought, because the whole time we've been talking, you can go back and listen to our past podcasts, we've been talking about Charlotte losing was a guarantee. So they're going to use Charlotte to put Asuka over, and they're going to use Charlotte to put Rousey over, so that way Asuka and Rousey can have the showdown. Charlotte will pick her wins up because she's the WWE product. She'll come back around and pick her return wins up. Everybody's going to come out looking strong. That's what we thought, right?
Correct.
That was generally the idea. We were okay, and we were all cool with that. Basically, what they did at WrestleMania was like, oh, no. She is our product, but she's also the greatest thing to ever great in women's wrestling. We're giving her this. Like, oh no.
Right.
Please believe, we already know she's good, and people like me and you have all been saying, she's probably already the greatest. This was them saying, oh no. At the end of the day, this woman will be not considered just the greatest women's wrestler, but she's going to be like arguably one of the top 5 to 10 all-time WWFE wrestlers of all time. I said all time twice. Whatever.
That's okay. It's a double positive. I think that's okay in English, right?
Yeah, we'll cover that in post.
So, no disagreement for me. Again, she breaks Asuka's streak, and you had brought up to me and mentioned the fact that it's almost like a low-key item of Charlotte's own streak of being, is it undefeated in how many pay-per-views?
She was undefeated for a year on pay-per-view, and we don't even talk about it anymore. You know what else we don't talk about anymore? Her being NXT Women's Champion.
That is also true.
There are women
and
on the
the
roster.
Last Divas champion.
Yes, there are women on the roster still that they like Bayley, former NXT Women's Champion, right? If Becky Lynch had been undefeated for a year on pay-per-view, they'd be like undefeated for a year on pay-per-view. They'd mention it every match. Charlotte is so good and has done so many things that these two things that they would mention for anyone else,
they don't even have to bring up.
They don't even bring up for her anymore.
Because she's accomplished so much.
Yes.
And I mean,
unworldly. That's on another level. ASAP Ferg type.
Yeah. It's absolutely amazing what this woman has done. And let's be honest, in a short time.
So short. She's hardly, main roster 3-4 years now?
Yeah, that sounds fairly accurate. 3 years, maybe?
5, maybe? 2013? I don't even think it's 2013.
So she's, you can compare and contrast, and obviously she's what? Bliss was the first to be champ on both brands, but has never gained that NXT title, and it never will because, let's be honest, unless they do a complete changeover and NXT is no longer developmental and just a third brand, it's not going to happen. And I don't foresee that. So here's Charlotte, who has another one up on someone else and is, let's just be honest, head and shoulders above every woman on that roster on in-ring ability. She just is.
Facts, man. She's just
and it's
better.
not, and that's not a slight to anyone, because there are some phenomenal girls on this roster and in NXT. But Charlotte is better than every single one of them. Now, I kind of want to touch on one thing, just briefly, but see, to me, this only helps Asuka. It makes her, she has a loss, now we don't have that monkey on her back. We can actually develop her character a little more, and maybe, I don't know how you want to go about this, but she could have some interesting interaction with Charlotte because of this, a respect for Charlotte because she did lose to her, and this can go in so many different directions that I actually think this was the best thing for Asuka.
Sometimes someone needs humanized. You know,
I
sometimes
think you literally just put that the most perfect way it could be put.
Sometimes someone just needs humanized.
Because you can't be Superman all the time.
Yeah, I was in the army with this dude, and he was the perfect soldier. Like, literally the perfect soldier. It was disgusting, right? He was perfect at everything.
Was he Jean-Claude Van Damme?
No, But one day, he didn't show up. He, went out the night before and got hammered and went home with a girl, and he didn't show back up. And he was just getting promoted quick. They were fast-tracking him and everything. I went to pick him up at the girl's house, and he was like, man, this will probably help me out. And I said, why is that? And he said exactly what I just said. He said, sometimes it helps to be humanized a little bit. He said, it'll make me look like I'm just one of the guys, He's like, everybody will kind of change their thoughts on me. He's like, it'll humanize me. And it really did. Everybody just kind of had a newfound respect for him after that. The fuck-offs liked him because, oh shit, dude, he'll go home with a girl, miss duty. So he really kind of gained a new respect. So it does. It helps to be humanized every now and then.
Gain respect with his peers and understanding from the upper brass. I get it. I totally get it. So speaking of humanizing, something happened. We were to just talk how great Charlotte is, how awesome her WrestleMania moment was, how great it is that she's the one that took the streak away from Asuka, and then what happens on Tuesday night? We have the debut of the Iconics and a successful Carmella cash-in, and she loses the title.
Let's not take away from Ember Moon on Monday also.
This is a valid point. Who beat Bliss? Pin Bliss, I guess, tag match with Pin Bliss.
It's a big move. It's a big debut.
It sure is.
We'll see what happens.
It is. But so we have two major things, which is the debut of the Iconics, Peyton Royce and I'm drawing a blank. Mike, help me out,
Billy
co-host. Kay. Thank you. Woo! Peyton Royce and Billy Kay.
Take care of it post, man. Take care of it post.
We leave it in. Leave it natural. That's the way we do. Making their debut on SmackDown, beating down Charlotte and leading to a successful Carmella cash-in. Big night for all three of these women, and, I wouldn't say it's a bad night for Charlotte because it just develops her character further.
No, this was exactly what Charlotte needed, It gives her something else to do. You can't always have Charlotte in the title picture.
Yeah, we're going to touch on that subject a little bit later, Mike. Not with Charlotte, but I think you know where I'm going with this.
Yeah, I know. So we can't always have Charlotte in the title picture. This was a great way to get the title off of her. It didn't hurt her at all. It made her more sympathetic. Great way to debut the Iconic duo. Great. Carmella needed this, man. She needed the boost. So she'll be a great heel champion moving forward for the post-WrestleMania season, moving into SummerSlam. She'll be a good heel for some face to take down. And she's just an interim champion. Who knows? We'll probably have a string of interim champions. Wouldn't be shocked if Naomi or Becky Lynch picked it back up between now and SummerSlam.
Right.
To defend on a bigger stage. So, this is a great thing. And it'll give Charlotte something to do with... Charlotte's so good, she almost needs a 2-on-1 scenario.
Right.
Just like she basically took on the entire Riot Squad. So Charlotte kind of needs a challenge up to her level, and immediately debuting against Charlotte is going to help these two out immensely.
Oh yeah, absolutely, which is also an exciting thing because let's be honest, there's been murmurs of the Iconic duo, now known as the Iconics. Apparently there's a trademark thing going on. Debuting since the last Raw or SmackDown after Mania, and it didn't happen. And then I didn't see them on TV all that much on NXT, and then here they are, and welcome to their glory.
New and improved.
new and improved. Something you noticed there, Mike?
Look, I just think it's really weird. I just think it's really weird that these two, their act has basically been the same for like the last year, right?
Yeah, and it's a good
year
act.
and a half.
It's a solid act.
Good, solid act. They're great heels. They remind me a lot of that, what was it, Lay Cool?
Yes. Yep. Mm-hmm.
But better.
Better in ring ability.
Yeah,
that's
because
for sure.
they didn't have Layla. They don't have
Right.
Layla in them.
Mm-hmm.
Not taken away from Michelle McCool. Taken away from Layla. Definitely taking away from Layla here.
That's a fair argument. There,
So
Mike.
she's going to be in the Hall of Fame one day. Wrap your head around that.
Yeah, well.
So, they could have been called up at any point. They don't do anything on the roster, right? They lose matches that come out and they're catty as hell, and it's hilarious. It just seems really weird to me that, like, 2 weeks ago, they returned from getting breast enhancement surgery, and now all of a sudden it's main roster.
Well,
It's so weird to me that it's like, well, you aren't great wrestlers, but you're really good on boobs, main roster. Like, did you see Vince sitting backstage? Like, what do you think about the iconic duo here, Vince? It's like, they're good on the mic, but those aren't main roster titties. And they come back in like 2 weeks later, and he's like, oh, main roster titties.
Day after Mania.
Those are raw titties. Those titties are raw. Those aren't titties you want to smack down. Those are titties you want raw. Like, that shit's fucking like sexist as fuck. I almost said racist. Like, we know clearly what happened here. They got boobs and you were like, oh man, time to move them up. Like, I just hate that shit, man.
That, or it was, well, there's one thing keeping you down here in NXT. Let's be honest, two things keeping you down here. Let's do the math right.
You just don't have main roster titties.
And see, guys, this is the radio gold we bring you, and if you would, I'll just tell your friends about it. Not only would they laugh, but we could open a t-shirt shop, and you could have an awesome women's tee that says main roster titties. How great would that be?
Main roster titties. That'll be like our second or third t-shirt we ever make. Main roster titties.
We get to that level, I promise you it's coming. Promise you. Anyway.
Also, I really want a Daniel Bryan as the 9/11 of WrestleMania 34 t-shirt.
Yeah, I still got that clip I gotta edit together, because that's just tragic. Guys, we're going to take a quick break and come back, continue talking about every Smark's favorite wrestler. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everyone, and it's time, Mike. We got to bring it up. I said last week on our WrestleMania preview episode, kind of in passing, when we were picking our matches, picking what we thought would be the best matches, picking how we thought they might go, and I said, what happens if Brock Lesnar wins this thing? What happens if every internet smart, keyboard warrior, anti-Roman, Boomin' Reigns, everyone that wants to hate on this guy for no reason other than the fact that they are firmly in the belief that, Vince is just so stubborn that this is his guy, and that he sucks.
He's ruining wrestling!
Because he doesn't. Yes.
He's only got like 6 moves!
And I said, what happens if Brock beats this guy? And it happened. It really happened. And
now we know what happens. He gets a rematch 2 weeks later in Saudi Arabia.
That's where I was going to go with this, because after Mania, I listened to you and our very own High Fivers post show on our Facebook page, and you guys all bring up good points which honestly I was too tired to write down, I'm not going to lie. But I just thought, and we all communicate. It's been a rough week, dude. Staying up till midnight to watch WrestleMania
we
here.
Are legit
like, it's
media.
Hey, listen.
With real lives.
We do this stuff, and if people don't think we're informed enough, then they need to find a way for me to work 70 hours a week and podcast and get as much as I need written down, because I do a pretty damn good job as it is.
You trying to...
Anyway.
We'll start, we'll start like a... What is it, the one...
GoFundMe?
Not a GoFundMe. What is it, the one where, if you're like a... Not PayPal. We'll start a PayPal, though, and you can send us money. And
you can totally send us money.
And we will work less time, and the show will be better for you.
That would be
fantastic. So if you would like to send us money to make this better for you,
we'll do like
Jim or AJ or maybe David Patterson or Bobby Brown or James. One of you 5 guys that listen to this.
We'll take the money.
We'll take your money. We'll fucking
take
all
everything you can send.
Every fucking thing you got, we'll take it.
Every penny.
I will suck the soul from your body.
Whoa. Oh, okay. I was concerned there. Anyway, so, man, we talked, and we were like, Roman's done. Like, this is the official. This is Roman's getting knocked down the card. Someone's going to take a spot. Maybe it's Braun. Maybe we don't know who it is. We speculated maybe Finn comes in and wins his damn title back. Maybe, anybody. We just thought this was going to be even more awesome than we initially thought. And then, no. We're gonna get a rematch at the greatest Royal Rumble ever in Saudi Arabia. And as much as I sometimes just despise dirt sheets and the way that people think and the way that people talk on the internet, this is one, and I try to be the voice of reason. I try to point out when WWE does a good job. This is a point where I say, are we really going to move this match to Saudi Arabia to make sure Roman Reigns gets cheered when he wins? Is that really what we're doing? I need you, for once, to talk me off the ledge, Mike. Tell me, there is no way in hell that Vince's grand plan was, well, he's getting booed at Mania, so let's just do this in a foreign country where we know he'll get cheered. That's not what happened, is it? Please tell me that's not what we're seeing.
I'm torn because, there's part of me that's a wrestling fan, and then there's part of me that's an internet wrestling fan. Internet wrestling fan is like, this is obvious what's happening here. You want this man to get cheered when he wins the title, because that's all that matters, right?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, all that matters is the 10-second clip of him holding the belt up getting cheered that we can cut into videos and whatnot later on. That's all that matters. Or is he going to lose again,
Oh my gosh.
Is he going to lose again? Who knows, man? Maybe he loses again.
Could you imagine? Are you predicting that right now?
I am. I think he loses. I really do.
So instead, we're still done with the Roman Reigns thing. It's just the fact that we know he's going to get cheered over there, and we know that the fact that he's getting a rematch against Brock will draw a house. So we're just going to use that, still beat Roman, and we're still going to do something else with this Universal title.
Yeah, I do. And I'm not going to make the argument they're just going to have him lose because I don't know, Vince. Vince just is further in making you feel sorry for him. I don't know, man. Someone will twist this fucking some way so that it works out for Roman. But it's not, man. They're just doing it again. Who cares?
I'm just here's my thing.
Get up at 6 a.m. to watch it.
How many of these guys
4
have what?
4. That's how many guys.
How many guys on the main roster have lost the title in the last I don't know, year and a half, 2 years, and not gotten a damn rematch. This guy loses his title shot and gets another rematch. And I like Roman Reigns. I'm not one of these haters. I think he does very, very well. It's hard to argue against him having a good match like people do, because they're doing it with a blind hatred. The fact of the matter is, that man does not have very many bad matches. And you cannot every single time say, well, it's just his opponent doing all the work. That's horseshit.
Well, I don't think it works out. I don't like either heavyweight title match, how it ended, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Roman Reigns won the number 1 contender match. Okay, so they told this like it was chapter 2 or 3 in a book. Like chapter 1 was he won the number 1 contender match. Chapter 2 was getting beat up on Raw. And chapter 3, the match. And chapter 4 is now getting a rematch at Royal Rumble. Well, no, man, the story ended at chapter 3.
Right.
Right, like you failed to conquer. That's the hero's journey, you failed to conquer. And that's kind of how I feel with Shinsuke Nakamura. But they did it a better way. They at least gave a reason for him to get a rematch. But his story ended too. You won the Royal Rumble. You challenged the champion and you lost. Your story's done. You don't get a rematch later on. But they did it in a better way with having him turn heel and kick the crap out of him. So now, okay, well, I'll give you a title shot just to get my hands on you. We all know where this is going. But I don't like that. You told the story, beginning to end. So now we're adding on this, and I get it with SmackDown in regards to SmackDown. I'm not just saying that because I like the people involved better or whatever, or I like that show better. I think the shows are about even in my opinion. But they did it in a better way. Raw, they just were like, and this is one of those things that Roman fans complain about. Or not Roman fans, Roman detractors. Oh, he doesn't even deserve this title shot, and they just gave it to him. Well, they're right.
Yeah, see, and this is where, when you try to defend this man, sometimes they do this stupid shit that makes it indefensible.
Totally indefensible. That's what they do.
And it's like, and I, like I said, I'll never sit here and tell you that he sucks in the ring and that he's bad at this and he's bad at that. And he's not the best guy on the mic, but he's not horrible. He's really good in the ring. Everybody that ever works with him gives so much credit to this guy. I just listened to Sam Robinson interview Braun Strowman, and Braun Strowman credits Roman Reigns for being the character and the wrestler that he is today. We're gonna hate on that? I mean, come on.
Right.
So
everybody loves me. How do you hate me? Because people hate everyone that everyone loves. You have to be an asshole.
But all that being said, I now can sit here and say, man, this guy doesn't deserve another match right now. Not now. Not after the story. No, you told, as you said, I think 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, this is the story of Roman Reigns that we have been telling for 2 years. For longer than that. Since WrestleMania 30 when Brock Lesnar broke the streak.
And the story ended.
It's over.
He lost.
Because what needs to happen is a new story needs to start where that Universal title is put on somebody else, a la a Finn Balor, a Braun Strowman, a Seth Rollins. I know he's the IC champ. I'm just throwing that name out there. A Samoa Joe. We'll go that route. And then we can start a new book of Roman with a new opponent. Because the Brock book is done.
Yes. The Brock book it's ran its course, man. It ran its course like Hogan having the belt and Hollywood Hogan. That title run that was like 2 years long almost. Whew, man. And it wasn't even like 2 years long, was it? It only lasted from like 96 to 97.
It felt like 2 years.
It just was unbearable. Because nothing happens. When you're locked into a story, you just know nothing's going to happen. That's the only problem with these paths they get set in. But now, like, what are we going to do? That path's over. Well, Brock's still Brock. Well,
we're just going to go back down the same path.
Yeah, we've got to have someone step in and take this title off of him and get that bump and then move forward.
And that's the thing. I guess we'll wrap it up here, Mike. I don't want to spend the whole rest of the show because we still got some stuff to go over, but I guess I'll wrap it up like this. I'm not going to be upset if Roman wins this title in Saudi Arabia and Brock goes away or Brock stays and does a little bit of stuff here and there. I have no ill will against Brock Lesnar. I don't care if he leaves. I don't care if he stays. And that's not, I don't give a shit about him. It's just a point. He's done all he's needed to do. If they want to keep him around, great. Just get him out of that title picture. If he wants to go fight in UFC and come back in a year, I'm okay with that too. That being said, I'm okay with Roman winning this title. I just am not okay with how the story played out. If this is the final chapter, then he gets his rematch and he, gets his comeuppance, but you really already lost that chance, and there just wasn't a good reason to get there.
I think he's going to lose, but I'd rather him win, just so we can move on. But I agree. There's no reason why he's here. He didn't do anything to get there.
Exactly. All right, guys, we're gonna move on. We're gonna take one more quick break, and we're gonna go in and do a little bit of cleanup. We're still working on segments here. We're still working on things. This could possibly be Who Says Something Stupid, Mike. It's really close. I don't know if we want to go with that name or not, but we're gonna talk about some things that just were kind of crazy and kind of ticked me off. I'm sure ruffled a little bit of feathers, and we're going to expound on them. We will be right back.
Right back.
Welcome back, everyone. We're going to close the show out for you guys today. We're just going to kind of fire through a few topics here and kind of go over some really, I don't want to say crazy things, just some things that were said and were brought up, and some things that make you go, huh? Okay. And Mike, I don't think I previewed you on this one because I found it and I typed this out, and maybe I'll get an honest reaction since you've been known to be the doppelganger of this man, but if you saw Raw, you did see that Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens trying to get a job on Raw. They did get quote unquote fired from SmackDown. They approached Kurt Angle, and in a really fun promo / interview, whatever the hell you want to call it, he basically tells them he's got too many people in his tag division, but hey, TNA's hiring. Which, jaw drop, we just named another promotion on WWE television. Here's where it gets fun. Or funny, I guess. Or even wacky. I don't know. Austin Aries was asked about this in a recent interview. And I actually had the exact quote here. Are you ready for this, Mike?
I'm totally ready.
Austin Aries says, "But hey, it's cool, man. Yeah, we are hiring. If you come here, we won't test you or take money out of your pocket for smoking marijuana. There are a lot of perks to coming here. Yeah, it's all about what you want for your career and your life." Let me reread one of those parts again. We won't test you, and we won't take money out of your pocket for smoking marijuana. Now, I want to make one thing clear. I don't care who smokes marijuana at all. I don't care at all. I'm totally cool with it. I know Mike's totally cool with it. But when you're representing a company that is struggling the way that Impact Wrestling is it not one of the most brainless, boneheaded statements you could put out there? And I don't even mean the pot thing. I mean we're not going to test you. Take all the roids you want, which again I've stated, I hope they do. I'm good with that. But for a public image, for crying out loud.
He said test you for marijuana, man. That implies
That is
to me
not
that
what
you're
he
still
meant.
testing for steroids.
That is not what he meant.
That you don't think? You don't think he really meant that? I think
If you
he's
come
a vegan,
here, we
man.
won't
he's a
test
vegan,
you.
Like, right? So he's like a known
Yeah.
like hippie guy. I wasn't
Yeah.
surprised to find out he smoked marijuana. So maybe he's just a pot enthusiast, man. And he's just saying, hey, like I know a lot of the boys smoke pot. They don't test for it here. It's not a thing.
And okay.
But you're saying the implication was we don't test for anything.
That's what it sounds like. I mean, and it very well might not be the case. Maybe he was strictly talking about marijuana. But dude, like, you're the champion of like 17 different companies right now. And you're literally touting about how you should come here because we don't test for anything. Because that's what it sounds like. I just think that's a really stupid thing to come out of your mouth.
Oh yeah, I'm not saying it was right.
So what I'm asking for you to do, dude, is call your twin brother and tell him to, like, think before he talks.
Got no pull, man. He disowned me. Doesn't talk to anyone in the family.
You took all of his bananas, didn't you?
Took all the bananas with him, and he doesn't give me free tickets to shit.
What a dick.
What a dick.
I've always heard that. Anyway, let's move on to something...
I heard he liked food, so...
Wow, well, there's that. Good for him.
There's nothing wrong
anyway,
with that. There's nothing wrong with that.
We're going to touch on that a little bit, Mike.
Just like starting false rumors about people.
Yeah, exactly. Moving on, we've had, I don't know, a crazy, I guess I'll say week at this point. And hell, at this rate, things could even change by the time this podcast drops. Rusev is just all over the internet, all over the message boards, all over Twitter, all over every single dirt sheet you could be. Everything from what we talked about last week to supposedly him wanting his release to that being the reason why he was added to the U.S. title match with I said BS. You agreed. We both agreed he must hate making money. And obviously there's more than just making money. I get that. But Rusev also doesn't strike, and I could be completely wrong. Rusev doesn't strike me as a guy, like, a Daniel Bryan is an artist in the ring. Rusev doesn't strike me as the guy that's going to be like, you know what? That match really didn't hold up to the standard of my creativity and my in-ring work rate, so I need to do a better job. And if that means I take a pay cut, I got to go somewhere else. I just don't see that.
Yeah, I totally agree. Like, he's not the type of guy that's, I want to go to New Japan so I can have 5-star matches or to reinvent myself. That's not his gig. Like, he gets over, but he doesn't have that, like, thing, I don't think, that is gonna, he's not in ring gonna make you, gonna wow you. He's gonna, oh, that's cool, but he's not gonna, like, wow you.
Right, exactly. So here's the thing, and I have a lot of points to talk about this. He sends out a tweet, I don't know, Sunday night, maybe Monday afternoon, enough is enough and it's time for a change, or something really close to that. Really, really, really close to that Owen Hart tagline, right? And of course, everybody jumps on it. Yeah, you need to go to New Japan. You need to go to Ring of Honor. Yeah, you need to not make money so you can go be a creative artist, which is not what I see with Rusev. But anyway, and then it gets announced that the match has been made. It's going to be Rusev versus The Undertaker at the greatest Royal Rumble ever in a casket match. Which immediately I think to myself, this is crazy because everyone wants Rusev in a big profile match, but he's gonna lose this match. Like, Taker just destroyed Cena in like 4 minutes. Taker's not losing a casket match. It's just not gonna happen. Not especially right now. Not after what he just did at WrestleMania. So everyone was kind of went on that side, like, oh, he's got this high profile match, but he's gonna lose. So this sucks. Well, then he gets removed from this match and replaced by none other than Y2J, Chris Jericho. And now everybody's mad that he's not in the match. We can't have our cake and eat it too, guys.
Can't we?
No, we cannot. It's a proven fact. You can't have cake and eat it too. You know, I just really realized I don't know what the hell that saying even means.
Okay, it means, like, if you have a piece of cake in front of you.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's do it like when you were a kid. Like, imagine, like, did you ever get a present that was dope as shit and, like, it looked so cool in the box, you didn't want to take it out of the box, but you also wanted to take it out of the box and play with it?
Yeah, I have some of those right now.
Yeah, okay. That's what the statement means. You can't have a piece of cake that sits there and looks gorgeous and delicious and also eat it. You can either have the cake or you can eat it. And, I mean, whatever. It's the internet in 2018. You can have cake, eat it,
right?
Throw it against the wall.
Stick it.
You can do whatever you want with your cake now because no one's wrong.
And that's the thing, no one's wrong. And I'm just sitting here like, everyone complained that he was in this match with The Undertaker and he's going to get buried, which actually led to a tweet that was like, bury me softly, brother. And then everyone gets mad when he's taken out of the match. It's like, okay, you didn't want him to lose to the Taker, but clearly he was going to lose. And now that he's not in the match and not going to take that L, you're mad that he's not in the match. When you have no idea what the plans is, this was framed that Lana requested him not to be in the match, which I don't know what the reason is. Maybe, guys, maybe this is a huge setup angle for Rusev. Maybe.
Maybe we should just wait and see what happens.
Maybe we should wait and see. You know, here's a crazy thing. Do you remember, Mike, when the rumor was going around that Finn Balor was told by Vince McMahon, or let me rephrase that Vince McMahon said Finn Balor isn't over, and that then that came out right around the time that Finn lost to Kane, and then lost another match, and then the internet was all crazy about how the club should go to Japan, and Finn Balor should go back to Japan, and they're just not being used properly, and they suck on WWE, and WWE is killing them. They just need to go back to Japan. And then the guys started playing into that. Finn, an epic troll master, just sending tweets out left and right about this point, like putting over in capital when he was doing Finn Forever. So much to the point that they made a Finn Forever t-shirt that has over in it capitalized. Like, does this not seem very similar to the Trollmaster Finn, with the Rusev being the Trollmaster here?
Yeah, I think so. Rusev's a good troll, man. He's good at what he does. Like,
He
that dude's
absolutely
funny.
is.
By the way, happy Rusev Day.
Happy Rusev Day.
Yes, he's very good at what he does. Dude's got a good sense of humor, man. He knows what he does. He knows how to work the internet also. Like, he knows how to work the internet. That's a skill of his. Am I saying that 100%, yeah, this is him working us and trolling us? No, man, maybe he legitimately has some gripes backstage about not being used right. He does legitimately, like, have some gripes. He could if he wanted to.
Right, he could, but again, we touched on this a little bit earlier. You kind of mentioned, Charlotte can't be champ all the time. Not that Rusev's been champ recently, but Rusev came in WrestleMania on a flippin' tank as the U.S. champion, right?
Yeah, he did.
It's not like this guy's just can't. This guy has not had, and no offense, but this guy isn't like a Ty Dillinger. It's not like he came up to the main roster from NXT and just disappeared and did nothing. This guy has had a solid entry into the main roster. Maybe it's just not his time right now. And also, yeah, he's hot because of Rusev Day, but that might not fit into what they already have planned, and maybe they're trying to work that in now. I don't know, but I do know one thing. He's hot because of Rusev Day. You know what he can't go to Ring of Honor and do? Be Rusev.
You know what else you can't do with Rusev Day?
What's that?
Put a belt on it.
Yeah, you really can't.
You can't. That gimmick, you can't put a belt on that. You want Rusev Day to be champion? What's the gimmick? What's the gimmick, and how does it get us to the title?
It's a fair point.
This isn't a gimmick that holds title weight to it.
This is a gimmick that sells merch, and it does a very good job at that.
Yeah, and that's great. There's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with that at all.
I wish fans would understand that, look, man, I think Rusev's great.
Right.
Right, I really do.
I
think he's great. Should he have been champion by now? No, man. No, maybe. Maybe, but does he deserve it? No, he doesn't. No. He doesn't. Look at the talent on the roster since he's been here. No, he doesn't deserve it.
Yeah, even when you put it that way, let's be honest. As over as Rusev is, does he deserve a WWE title run over a Shinsuke Nakamura?
What's he done?
Over a Kevin Owens? Over a Sami Zayn? Let's be honest. And I like Rusev, and I have totally bought in. You're talking to a guy who has a Rusev Day calendar hanging at work.
Exactly.
I get it. It's just the fact that he might... Could he be used in a more prominent role without being a champ? Absolutely. Absolutely. But if you're looking at this as a negative for him when he's making money selling merch left and right, then you're not looking at the whole picture.
Look, this is a guy that basically came out wrapped in a towel in NXT.
There was another guy that did that.
Okay.
Hello, ladies.
And it's like, this is pretty good to be a big time merch seller and an upper level mid carder. That's a pretty good career. You can make a good life out of that. And I wish fans, and sometimes maybe even wrestlers need to understand that, like, there's just better people than you. John Stockton and Karl Malone just had Michael Jordan, who was better than that.
Let me say something, and if you think I'm completely flat out wrong, you can tell me that, Mike, because you're more in this world than I am. I think the Young Bucks are an amazing tag team, but where are they? They are making the best living they can for themselves because they are merch sellers.
Yeah, those dudes know.
Maybe their wrestling skills got them there, but they are creative and they make damn good merch that people want to buy. So they're rich.
Right? And that's...
Nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing... And Rusev just... People, you gotta understand, maybe this dude's just super happy with this great life that he has and entertaining people, and he's got a gimmick and a wrestling style that can last him for 20 years.
Exactly.
Chill out, man, you know?
Exactly.
Mark Henry wasn't deserving of the heavyweight title. Not that he wasn't great. He was. There's just people that just, like, fill roles that just aren't cut out. The British Bulldog.
Right.
You know, there's tons of all-time greats. I'm not trying to take away from the guy.
And then, let's take this to one more level and we'll wrap it up and move on. There are guys who fill roles differently, like a Kurt Hawkins, who is willing to sew a shirt with all the losses on his back, and he's totally good with it.
Yes, exactly. Heath Slater, who is arguably one of the best overall workers they have, and loses constantly.
And he takes L's. Yep. Because that's his position.
That's his role.
Not everybody can be on top all the time, because then there'd be nobody to go against, and that's just the way it is. Speaking of being over, speaking of our friend Finn Balor, which I mentioned a little bit ago, I found it disgusting. These last few topics, Mike, I'm going to be honest, they're not the prettiest, but... And one who I will no longer say their name, but a very popular YouTube wrestling personality made mentions of Balor's WrestleMania gear and, you know, wearing this rainbow color in support of the LGBT community, and how he literally stated that he lost his balls and he cannot believe that WWE strapped him with this gimmick. And this kind of talk is disgusting to me. You're literally taking a shot at someone for supporting something that you are just assuming was not his choice. How are we just going to sit here, not us, because we're not, but how are we going to not only bash someone for supporting a community that, let's be honest, faces a lot of criticism as it is, but just blame the company for it because you don't like it? We have no clue that this was a WWE decision. I have pretty positive, more than I'm not, that this was a Finn Balor decision. I don't know, I've tried to look it up, but I've heard from other sources that he did this same type of thing when he was in Progress as Prince Devitt. That he was a big supporter, visually and verbally, of the LGBT community. This is not a bad thing. And this is not the company cutting Finn Balor down. No,
this was definitely his idea. This guy's, for a long time, he's very vocal. Follow him on Twitter.
Yeah, exactly.
It's all right there in front of you.
And I actually saw somebody else, just a rando on Twitter, say, well, that's fine that the company wants to make a statement, but they shouldn't strap it to Finn. They should put it on some jobber. So you're literally saying you don't like this statement, even if you maybe don't mind the statement, by saying, let's not put it on a top guy, let's put it on someone that nobody cares about. You are saying that this is not an issue that is even should be concerning to anyone, and F all these people. That's how I take it.
100%. Put it on a jobber, because I don't want to see it on someone that matters.
Yep, and that's exactly what is being said. It's disgusting to me. You know, I understand and we're not a podcast about this, but I understand that there's like religious connotation to this. There's moral connotation to this and personal beliefs and whatever. But the bottom line is this group of people that Finn Balor is single-handedly in wrestling supporting, like on a huge platform, can use this support. And if he's willing to do that, all the more power to him, and I 100% defend his decision to do it.
You can disagree with homosexuality without being a hateful dickbag.
Exactly.
Exactly. Because...
When can we please get to that part? You know what I mean? Can we please get to that in our world?
Just because wrestling... And here's the thing, like, if you're a religious fan or a fanatic or whatever, that's your thing. I personally am a churchgoer. I'm a Christian. Here's the thing, guys. Just because wrestling has a guy come out with a rainbow stripe on his boots, it doesn't mean that God was up in heaven watching and was like, oh, guys, WWE just let a dude wear a rainbow. It's cool now, let's change the rules. Like, nothing's changed with your religion. Like, your religion and your religious beliefs are still as equally valid as they were before. It's still exactly the same. Even if you don't have religious beliefs and you just don't like gays. This doesn't change anything. This doesn't mean that two dudes are going to start humping on Raw next week. You know?
Right.
And I'm going with the two dudes example because that's what you're graced out by. Let's face facts. If it was two chicks, you're all right with it. Which makes you not only a homophobe but a hypocrite douche.
Right, because these are the same people that were cheering for HLA back in that day.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So, you're a hypocrite and you're a homophobe, but this stuff isn't going to affect your life, man. You know? Like, it's not going to... all of a sudden, wrestling's just super gay now. No, man, it's just a dude who's just saying, like, hey, I support some people. Like, that's cool. Like, there's a lot of things I don't agree with on TV. And I'm just like, whatever. And I go on with my day, man. I don't take to the internet and talk about I'm never going to watch this shit again. What I know I am. I know I'm going to watch it.
Yep, absolutely. And like I said, again, I'm good with whatever Finn decides. I don't blame the company. I 100% believe this was his idea, his move, his merch, his support, fully behind this community. Good for them and good for Finn Balor. Now, I want to roll in, we'll wrap this up, Mike. Just with overall, this kind of still plays into the same thing, which just, it gets to me when fans disrespect the pro wrestlers. And what I mean by that is, you want to go to a show and you want to boo? Awesome. You want to go to a show and you want to chant? Debatable if it's awesome or not, but yeah, that's a whole different thing. But you want to have fun at a show and you want to boo the bad guys, you want to, cheer for the good guys, or maybe your favorite ones are the heels, so you cheer for them. You stand up and, act like an asshole and clap for the bad guy, which I sometimes do. That's awesome. That's fun. That's not what I'm talking about. When you're going on Twitter and adding wrestlers just to say shitty things to them, like, to get a reaction out of them, to try to make yourself look like a badass. And like, the reason I even bring this up is because it's rampant. Everything from memes on legit, like, supposed to be almost dirt sheet websites making jokes about the Paige sex tape. Like, let's just stop this right now. This woman is a victim, okay? And you're a website that does wrestling news, and you put a meme about that victim on your page, you no longer have any legitimacy, no matter what you can prove or say happened in the back. I don't care. But then it goes into fans where, and I know I sent this to you so you could see it, Mike, but Naomi talking about dealing with racism, especially from people on Twitter. And this is another thing that in 2018, I can't believe we're having this discussion, but WWE tweeting out a video from SmackDown about Natalya not liking that Naomi won the Battle Royal or whatever happy horseshit they were talking about. And someone just adds Naomi in the, or maybe even replies to it, but of course Naomi's tagged in this. I don't remember how exactly it went. And he just wrote, "Shitty monkey." Like, are you for real?
What? They really said that?
Yes. They have got hunted down by good old Twitter warriors, and the dude, I'm assuming, has changed his Twitter tag or Twitter name at least twice because he's now disappeared. He's probably gone. So he definitely didn't get away with it.
Oh, you gotta delete that shit, man. You can't just change your name. Oh.
But, I mean, are you
gotta
for
kill
real?
Your internet self after that.
Right. But, like, why? What is the benefit of this? What do these people get out of it? Because I'll have a debate all day long, and I like a good, healthy debate. And you and I don't always agree on everything when it comes to wrestling. You know, you and the high fiver, me and the high fiver, and everyone in our MVP chat. Sometimes we don't agree. But to be shitty to each other and then to be shitty to the people who we pay money to watch, who go out there and put their bodies on the line every night and every week for us to be entertained, what's the point in being shitty to them unless you're, like, I mean real shitty, like that, like racist shitty. Like, you want to try to have a heel conversation with Kevin Owens on Twitter, as long as you're not being a dick and making it real life, I'm good with that. But when you're saying racist shit, homophobic shit, like nasty real life shit, just stop. You give wrestling fans a bad name.
You know why they do it? I'll tell you why, man. The clout. There is nothing better to these loser internet wrestling fans than fucking clout. Fake internet clout. Just so they can go out there and be like, look at me. Look what I did. I pissed off Randy Orton and had an interaction with him. So you can post that shit online and get some freaking clout. Oh, look at him, yeah. Maybe it'll get reposted by the Spotlight or the 434.
Right, and that's exactly what happened.
And they'll be like, fan had a interaction with Randy Orton online. And that's why they do dumb shit like this. This guy I don't think was expecting this at all.
Probably not.
I think he was looking to have some kind of bullshit interaction. Oh man, that hate speech though. Good lord.
Yeah, it's just awful. But then when you hear Naomi actually address it and say that she deals with it all the time, it's kind of a heartbreaking thing to hear when you see someone who is. We talked about Charlotte earlier. Naomi's one of the best athletic women on that roster. Like, no doubt, she can pull some shit off in that ring that is really impressive. And to think that just because her skin tone is a certain way, someone's going to say some shitty things to her, just makes me want to blow this planet up.
Well, at least the internet wrestling part of it.
Yeah, at least that part of it. But I mean, it's crazy. And this extends, in my personal opinion, even into interactions in person with these men and women. You know, you brought up Randy Orton, and there was a thing a while ago, probably about a year ago, about him, you know, being a dick to someone in a gym. Look, I used to work in a gym, okay? And do you know how hard it was for me to get a workout in on my off hours when people knew I worked there? It's the most annoying shit you ever want to deal with. So what would I do? I put headphones in and pretend like I couldn't hear anyone. Even when my iPod died. That's what I did. Because it was the only way you could get a workout in without, and the best part is, my coworkers, same thing. I'd come up to them to, like, you know, check on them while they're working out, and I'd be like, oh, you can, you know, pause your whatever, and they'd show me the cord is in their pocket. They don't even have anything playing in their headphones. They're just wearing them to get some peace and quiet. Now, this extends to that. You know, you see these guys and girls in a gym, leave them alone. You want to ask for a picture? Say, hey, can I get a picture when you're done working out? I bet you most of them would say, yeah, man, catch me at the door when I'm on my way out. You know what I mean? you see a guy, you see one of these guys or girls in a restaurant trying to eat with their friends and family, don't bother them. How pissed off would you be if you were eating with your family and someone came up and tried to, from your job, and said, hey, I know you're at dinner with your family, but I really need you to look at this spreadsheet and tell me what I need to do.
Oh man, I go crazy if someone came into my job. Hey man, I got this thing that's missing. I need you to do some research on it.
Exactly.
I'd be like, hey dude, are you serious? I'm gonna ruin your shit the next day.
Let's be honest. And let's be honest, like, we're two guys talking about this on the internet, and both of us would mark out if we ever saw one of these in real life. But I would like to think that at least between you and I, we have enough common sense not to be rude assholes. And look, that's what it comes down to.
I got my picture taken with The Miz one time at a bar. I was outside smoking a cigarette. Dude was outside on the phone. He hung up the phone, started to walk by. I was like, hey man, can I get my picture taken with you? He was like, yeah, sure. Got my picture taken with The Miz. I didn't go up to him while he was on the phone. I wasn't an asshole. You just wait till they're free, man.
Exactly.
And don't eye stalk them. Don't eye stalk them. That's
don't
weird.
Stare, don't point, don't whisper,
weird.
because then it just becomes creepy.
Yeah.
Don't come to the airport at 4:30 in the morning when you don't even have a ticket to be in the airport and have 72 pictures for these people to sign, because that's just ignorant.
Yeah, I mean, go to the airport at 4:30 in the morning if you want. Don't have 72 pictures for them to sign.
Right, exactly. Because it's just weird.
Yeah, like
it makes all of us look like creeps.
It makes us all look so terrible.
Yep, it sure does. Well, I think I've said just about all I have to say, Mike. How about you?
I've got one more thing to say.
Ooh, I can't wait.
I don't have anything. I'm sorry. I thought I was going to come up.
Waiting, too.
I really thought I was going to come up with
Damn
something snappy in the time that it took me to, like, exhale. I overestimated my sense of humor. I could not come up with anything. So.
Yeah. We have plenty of time to work on this, Mike. Plenty of time to work on this. We had a big week in wrestling. Epic WrestleMania. We'll do this. Mike, how'd you enjoy WrestleMania?
Oh, man, I had a great time. It was an overall great time. It was a little bit long, but overall great time.
Yeah. It was a little long.
It was so long. Like I said on the pre-show that I was going to do the post-show drunk, and it was so long that I got drunk.
You sobered up?
And sobered up and got drunk and sobered up twice. So,
fair. That's fair.
Yeah, so by the time the post-show was there, I was like, man, I've sobered up twice. Like, I'm not drinking again.
Well, I mean, we had an awesome NXT takeover. We had a really solid, in my personal opinion, top 5 WrestleMania card. And all I know is we got the Superstar shakeup next week. I'm sure that will be a big topic on Drive-By. See where all this stuff shakes out and people land. Could change a lot of things, so it's hard to even speculate now.
No, we're saving it for our Patreon.
Fair enough. But
that's what I was trying to think of earlier.
On our Nork Global Stitcher?
Yeah, Nork Noble Stitcher.
Yeah.
You guys can send us money on Patreon. We'll start a Patreon.
Yeah,
and you
send
can
it.
Pay us money on that.
We will take any money you have, and we will do wonderful things with it.
Under the table gifts of cash.
Yep, absolutely. Non-traceable, unmarked bills, please.
We also work in bartering for goods and services. So if you would like to, do some landscaping work for me, or if you,
construction work, plumbing, electrical, we're good with all that.
Bake me some brownies and send them. If you want to give me a gift card to Papa John's or any other franchise pizza chain, because while I would prefer local pizza, I'm sure that your local pizza is not the same as my local pizza. So I'll take anywhere this national chain.
Someone that is accepted nationwide.
Yes, man. We accept DVDs and CDs and comics. We still use CDs. We're like dudes in our mid-30s. CDs are still we're still good to go on that.
We can still rock it.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
Wrestling action figures definitely will accept.
No, 100%.
I could use some new guitar strings.
Drumsticks.
So, there's a bevy of things we'll accept.
There's so many ways I could go with this, and I'm just going to cut it off right now.
Cut it off like Lorena Bobbitt.
Woo!
That's a
Me choppy choppy, y'all PP. There's an Attitude Era reference. Guys, we're going to stop. We're going to stop while we're ahead. It's been an awesome weekend in wrestling, an awesome week in wrestling. 2018 into 2019 looks like a super fantastic year for pro wrestling in general. I say it every week. Guys, it's been real. It's been fun. We will catch you next time.
And as always, guys, I love you. Have a great week.